Okay, today we are going to go over our solving and graphing inequalities homework. We did talk about how to graph. At the end of class, we were talking about how to solve the inequalities so then we can graph the solution. We did number 1 in class. Number 1, x plus 2 is greater than 4. Just as a reminder, I'm going to copy down all the numbers and variables from the problem. However, I'm going to substitute. I'm going to use my red as my substitution. I'm going to substitute an equal sign in place of my inequality, because this is what allows me to figure out what x equals if it were an equation. So x would have to equal 2. Now remember, I'm substituting. That equal sign isn't really there. Really what's there is x is greater than 2. Okay, the reason I'm substituting is just to figure out what does x have to be greater than. Okay, because if I put 2 in here, if I said I have 2 plus 2 is greater than 4, well, 2 plus 2 is 4. Is 4 greater than 4? It's not. I can't do that. So it tells me that x has to be greater than 2. It can be any number larger than 2. So remember, this is called a boundary point. My boundary is the number that I always have on my graph. I always do one on each side. My graph is going to have an open circle. My circle is going to be on the 2. X, okay, my dot equals x in this case, my circle. X has to be greater than 2, so it has to go greater. Okay. Number 2, I'm going to solve this the same way. I have y plus 3 and 4. I substitute an equal sign. Y equals 1. I put my inequality back in. See how that goes back here? Because I substituted y is less than or equal to 1. Okay? 1 is my boundary point. It goes on my paper. I have 3 numbers on my graph. Now 1, because it's less than or equal to, I'm going to have a closed circle, and my graph goes to the left. Okay? And I can always plug in my boundary point to see if it's true. So 1 plus 3 is less than or equal to 4. Well, it's 4. Is 4 less than or equal to 4? Yes. That means that I'm doing this correctly. Number 3, g minus 6. Again, I'm going to substitute an equal sign. A number minus 6 equals 4. Well, g equals 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. I rewrite my inequality, right? I'm just substituting so that inequality comes straight down. 4 is my boundary point. My circle is closed because of that or equal to. G is greater than or equal to. If it's greater than or equal to, I'm going to shade in my graph to the right. If it's less than or equal to, I go to the left. Number 4, f minus 5 equals 2. I'm substituting my equal sign. F is a number minus 5 that equals 2. It's 7. 7 minus 5 equals 2. Put my inequality back in. I have my boundary point. I know that my circle is closed. I'm going to put in my other numbers and say, well, f is less than or equal to 2. Number 5, 7 times a number is less than 42. Remember, I substitute in a value. T, well, what times 7 is 42? It's 6. So then I rewrite with my inequality that T is less than 6. My boundary point is at 6. It does not have the or equal to, so my circle is open. T is less than 6, so my solutions are all less than 6. 4 times a number is less than 20. I substitute my equal sign. H has to be 5. 4 times 5 is 20. My boundary is 5. I rewrite using my inequality. H has to be less than 5. My circle is open because of the less than sign, and it's less than. Okay. This is the same thing as saying R divided by 2 is greater than or equal to 4. Okay. So I'm going to rewrite it. So R divided by 2. Remember, I substitute an equal sign. A number divided by 2 equals 4. Well, I can go backwards. If I divided by 2 to get the answer, I have to multiply by 2 to get to the original problem. 4 times 2 is 8. I replace my inequality. So R is greater than or equal to 8. 8 is my boundary point. My dot is closed. And R is greater than or equal to 8. Okay. This one I have x divided by 3 is less than 2. So x divided by 3, when I set it equal to 2, that's what allows me to figure out what x is. Again, I can work backwards. If I take my original number and divide it by 3 to get to my answer, I can take my answer, multiply it by my last step, which was division. It's those inverse operations. Say 2 times 3 is 6, so 6 divided by 3 must be 2. I replace my equal sign with my inequality that was there originally and say, okay, my boundary's at 2. X is less than 2. My circle is open and my graph goes less than. As always, if you have any questions, please make sure to come and talk to me.